But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications option. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices. I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. But you know, the wouldn't let you have it any other way. Stepping back from what you lack, the past just pulls you back in again. Save me from myself, it just carries on, just carries on.
Good evening, welcome along to NUFC Matters. It is the Fans Forum on Monday night, and there might not have been a game of the weekend, but still plenty to talk about, whether it's the new chief executive coming in, David Hopkinson, or whether it's Voldemort. Is he a hit or is he a miss? Some people seem to have made their mind up already, and that's where we're going to start. Also, the breaking news tonight, although you wouldn't think it was breaking news if you've been watching Sky this afternoon, that Manchester City and the Premier League have come to an agreement over APT transfer activities and sponsorship activities. They're not allowed to talk about it. They've just come to an agreement. That isn't anything to do with 100 or so cases. It's a separate legal case that they took out against them. I'm sure we'll be hearing more of that from people in due course, but it doesn't sound very promising. Sounds as if Man City have just done a deal behind the scenes with the Premier League, but they still have to answer to 100 plus charges. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about our fans judging players. Before they've had a chance to pull on a black and white shirt, Alan, I'm a little bit knocked at this. I've got to be perfectly honest. Walter Marta's playing for Germany. He's not playing for Newcastle. He hasn't kicked the ball in anger for us yet. He hasn't had time. Yet if you go onto social media, people are already hang, drawn and quartering him before he's even had a chance to get on. And it's this negativity that surrounds social media. We've spoken about it many times on here. But you know what? Give the kid a chance, Alan. Surely to God.
Definitely, Steve. I'm with you all the way. I think if we get 10 goals out the lad, 10, 15 goals, he's had a tremendous season. I really do. I think the lad's come in, he's progressed year on year. I think what knocked me, Steve, was the fact that Bayern Munich, some of their top men were complaining about us buying them for extortion amount of money when they went out and bought Harry Kane the year before for 100 million, as if it's monopoly money. It was quoted as being seen by journalists of Bayern Munich. And I think the lads has got to learn his trade. I'm not going to get on his case. I'm going to give him a full year to learn his trade in the Premier League, because it's totally different. Look at the Sesko kid at Man United. He looks lost. Wirtz, yes, he scored the other night against Northern Ireland for Liverpool player, but he hasn't brought up any trees, has he, in the last 3 or 4 games? So I think the lads got to have a learning curve, Stephen. I'm just hoping he plays well and he beds in. But I'm not expecting the world to move for him. I think social media is social media, Steve. Everybody just dives on it, doesn't it? As soon as they see somebody, oh, he's got 70 million, he should be ready-made. We all know we paid over the odds for him. I think everybody in the panel knows that we paid over the odds for Vissa, but that's the lay of the land, lads. So in my eyes, basically, he's got a lot of good strengths. I've seen him in the under 21s and he stood out. He really did. Yes, Darren might say it's the under 21s, but he did stand out. And I thought some club, and it's our club, that picked him up. And I'm happy that we've got him. And I think my transfer window, even though I wasn't on last week, lads, has been very good. So I'll leave it at that, lads, and I'll let George get on. But I'm happy, and let's hope that the fans don't get on his case straight away.
Yeah, George, you've got to give people a chance. And I mean, it's a different setup. Germany's a different setup. And, the one last night, he got an assist, George. But, the time to judge any player is when he pulls on a Newcastle shirt, surely to God.
Well, yes. And when we're flavour of the month for kicking at the moment, aren't we? If you can't kick anybody else, have a go at Newcastle United. Well, sort of. It's the negative that all focus on as well. I mean, Wissa's goal for the Congo the other night was out of this world, absolutely out of this world. Ilanga's goal for Sweden was at another level. If he could do that once or twice for us, everybody will be happy. And the German lad was working hard, although he was starved with service, but he created enough to upset the defenders, and as you say, it was his endeavour that eventually got the assist. So if he does that sort of thing, and he's where Isak was when Isak came. We're saying Isak, and everybody was saying who, where, what. Well, yeah, we're back at square one, and we're just trusting in Eddie and his coaching team to get the best out of him. But what I like about him is that he's long and gangly, but he has very quick feet, which is unusual, and I think that's a great plus. And he'll get more chances out of that than not, because with his height and that and his quick feet, the chances are defenders will upend him, and he'll get a lot of free kicks and penalties and things like that. So no, I'm kind of heartened by what I've seen. I'm not disappointed at all, far from it. And I do think, though, that people that are jumping on the bandwagon now about that's no good, this is no good, are just ramping up the continuance of the pain that we've had over the nasty Swedish guy we've just lost. So, but I thought on the whole. And Alan's right to mention the under-21s. He was the star player in the under-21s. The only one anywhere near him was Tino Livramento. In terms of class, he was the top scorer. He beat our defence in the air easy peasy when they played us. So there's lots about the kid that's very positive for me, and I'm just looking forward to him in a black and white shirt. Playing alongside black and white colleagues, and I think we've got a rough diamond there, and let's hope Eddie Howe knocks the corners off it.
Okay, well said, George. Darren, you've got to judge your kid when he plays in black and white, surely.
Yeah, you do. I feel it. I'm like so much of him, but I watch a lot of YouTube on him. Like George said, he's got quick feet. He can score goals. He likes to come deep and help bring people in as well. But I think people are just jealous on it. Like, spend Newcastle United, so they've got to have a dig of us no matter what. So they feel a bit missed out if they don't have a dig in Newcastle. So we expect it realistic. We always expect it, don't we? But you kind of judge him till you've got to give him the season and then see how he goes from there. Do you set us up a target? 10 goals this season. That's what I would want of him for the money we paid of him. But if he scores 3-4 games, not scoring one, that's when the concern bells go in. He's got to score one quick. Just get his belief going at Newcastle United. So I have to be fair, I haven't watched any international ball. No, actually, I've watched no international. To be fair, I watched England had a lovely sleep. So you just got to give him a chance. The black white top. Hopefully he'll come good and then now they've got a good run of fixture. Now the squad to get bonded and all that, and get to know each other's tactics and all that. So that's what I honestly think, Steve.
Yeah, and I think Whistler will start. When it comes to the Wolves game of the weekend, we'll look ahead to that, of course, in the second half. Jeff, good evening. Thoughts on the stick that Walter Mart has already had from certain people on social media?
Well, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, the guy hasn't played. I haven't bothered to watch much of it. It doesn't mean anything to me. He's not playing for us. He's not he's not in our formation. And I've been busy doing other things, to be quite honest. I'm quite pleased with the idea of Ramsey and Visser and Chow or Thao. Why do we end up with these strange pronunciations? They're very, very odd. And Elanga looks fantastic. I wanted to draw attention to something that Mal said the other day on the program. He said, you shouldn't be afraid to shoot. And that would apply to all our players, I think, Bruno in particular. A lot of these guys have got a good shot on them and they're just too busy trying to be clever and do that perfect pass. And you just put the ball in the net. Right. And apart from that, we've got some points and we're languishing in some strange position. And I remember when the APT was, the Advanced Passenger Train Network. And now we can, I'm sure Manchester will have it integrated into their canal network and their rodent-infested swamp they've got down there. Anyway, I don't want to get involved in them. Yes, I'm very happy with our transfer business. And we pay what the market asks for. Agents have got involved a lot of the time. And all this stuff with Isaac is entirely driven by his rather wicked agent who's been banned from all sorts of clubs, including ours now, I suspect. Right. Cheers then, Steve.
Is that your magic carpet in the background?
Yes. It's got lots of elephants on it, so I don't forget.
And I did have a look there. Well, I put you into solo screen layout to see if we could see the squeaker, but we can't see him.
He can come and join me. Rex, you gonna join me? Rex?
Where is Rex?
He's here.
Come on, Rex.
Rex.
Brilliant.
Yeah, say hello, Rex. Yeah, he's a good boy. That's right.
Fantastic. There we go. Yeah. So that'll put all of our viewers. There we are. Yeah. We thought you were working the clicker with your squeaker with your.
No. I've got lots of things I can work with my feet, and
fantastic.
I can work the mouth organ with something else, but that's really quite tricky. It needs some setting up.
Fantastic.
Anyway.
Al-Walid, good evening. Al-Walid's joining us tonight. I'll be joining Al-Walid in about 45 minutes' time on his own channel. So if you want to listen to me warble on Al-Walid's channel, make sure you jump over straight after this. But good evening, Al-Walid. What's your views on the transfer window, Al-Walid? We haven't really spoken to you since you were on the show 5 or 6 weeks ago. So are you happy with the transfer window?
Hello, lads. After all, thank you, Steve, for joining my channel soon. If we make from 10 of 10, I could say 7 of 10. Apparently, we didn't take first choices. I don't think this is. I think all the signing weren't first choices of Eddie Howe, but I hope they will be successful, all of them. And if that happens, I expect Eddie Howe to be more flexible on signings, especially if these not that first target been joined the club. So of course we care much. It was very difficult summer, and I took a few days off after the transfer window. It was very hard. Regarding strikers, if we say any personally, if I put Isaac and Wilson on the other scale, and the other scale I put Wisa and Wiltmade or Voltmade, still didn't know how to pronounce. I will go. I think the scale will go to Wisa and Voltmade direction. So I'm very optimistic about these signings. And I think, of course, with experience of Eddie Howe and the team is already built. I just need some chemistry between the players, and I think to achieve that, maybe we need like 5 games.
Okay, good stuff, Alvary. And Kev, Voldemort is getting a bit of stick already. Not even pulled a Newcastle shirt on. You can see why I'm a little bit annoyed with that.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much of him, to be honest, but let the lad play football in a black and white shirt, and then we can judge him from that point. I watched some highlights last night of the game against Northern Ireland, and I think Mark Byers put in the chat, and he was isolated. They didn't give him the ball. He was dropping into space and dropping into holes in areas where he was always looking for the ball and demanding the ball. When he got it, yes, there was 3 or 4 around him, and so as an eye test, it doesn't look great. But I looked at it as I do, where his movement was good. When he got the ball, he could do what he dealt with. Really, that you can't really judge that off of 2 games in a year after a new signing and 2 games in World Cup qualifiers, whatever. International football is completely different to an English Premier League game. Yeah. It's sit off, pretty much boring, really. It's just who's going to crack first, But no, just let the lad settle in, give him a chance. Again, don't get on the old Twitter or X or Instagrams and all the whatevers and give him crap about it. Well, why don't the German fans do that? And if they're going to give him problems, get it from their side, not our side. He hasn't done nothing yet for us. So, yeah, I'm not really too worried about it. I'll wait and see what happens when he does pull that jersey on, whenever that is. Who knows? Again, we'll just have to be patient. But very excited about his future, to be perfectly honest. So again, just give him time, give him a chance. We can't really, as Newcastle fans, football fans in general are fickle anyway, so there's always going to be an excuse, there's always going to be a scapegoat within whatever team we watch or whatever team or player we see. But no, just let him get on with it, let him do his job, let him learn, let him get in Eddie Howe's system and the way they play, because Germany play completely different. We play completely different. So just give the lad a chance.
Yeah, and that's my point exactly. For me, Magnus, it's a strange situation we find ourselves in as football fans these days. I mean, I count myself lucky that I lived before social media, and these kind of conversations about players were had at your local pub or wherever you would meet up with your friends. It's just one of those situations now which we're stuck with social media, and people make knee-jerk reactions after performances. What's your views?
Yeah, I mean, I watched both of those games with Germany, and Germany are in a sort of a rebuilding progress with Nagelsmann, and I saw glimpses of what he's capable of doing, and the struggles of Germany are not the same as Newcastle United, and even on a bad day, he still created 1 goal last night against Northern Ireland. So. We ain't seen nothing yet. As you guys say, we haven't seen him pull on a black and white shirt. But I've been pretty positive, and I said on a different podcast, anybody that comes to that team and gets to be a striker with the 2 Anthonys around him and the midfield behind him, is a lucky man, and. We also have Visa. He's probably going to be starting the first game against Wolves. However, he's doing a lot more traveling, so they might have to be sharing the workload between them. And with everything that Eddie Howe has done for all the players, we've absolutely almost. I feel we've never gone wrong with our transfers, and he will just be a talking example of that. He's got a lot to prove, and
And I will only criticize him if needed, and we have no reason to criticize him as of yet. And I am very, very hopeful for his contributions this winter. And yeah, with those guys around him, he's gonna pull up trees. It's just gonna take a little bit of time. It won't happen in the first month, but gradually, I think he's gonna become a outstanding player. And I am grateful to Germany to give him a few minutes, like starting both games, because he will remain fit, and so does Vissa and Elanga and everybody else that I've kept an eye on. Yeah, also, well done for the lasses to win the first match. If anybody didn't know, they are on open television on YouTube. So, with the lack of available football yesterday, I quite enjoyed that game. And well done for the lasses.
Well done, man. That's well said.
Newcastle women win, and then Dunstan had a interesting result as well. They've got a women's team now. They won 23-0 in their very first game. Very interesting, yeah, to say the least. Obviously at the lower league than Newcastle. Tom, Baltimore, am I right to say that we should be waiting until he plays for Newcastle before we should be making opinions?
Yeah, you're 100% right, Steve. But with that said, I could see whether there's some of the angst that's out there among the fans. PSR, yes, it stops us from buying players. It also restricts our wages. And we have a lot of money invested in this guy. If it was Nunez at Liverpool or Anthony at Man United, they could overcome a bust. We can't overcome a bust, right? We have to make sure that we get it right. So I can see why there's some of the angst out there and people like to see him hit the ground running, but it's pretty ridiculous to judge somebody on an international play that doesn't really mean anything with a pickup bunch of guys in Germany. It's just stupid, right? So I understand the angst, but come on. We know that you can't coach size, you can't coach speed, and you can't coach heart. They kind of come from the player themselves. And this guy, I think, has all three. I think he's got good feet. He's got good height. He's the size. And he looks like he's a cracking lad, too. So I think that we're going to be really pleased with him over time. But I don't see we're going to see a whole lot of them, except in some cup matches or until Wissa goes to the African games. He's going to learn the system. Eddie's going to build him up the same way that he's done with Hall or even Bruno back in the day. He's going to let him make sure that he understands how this club plays and what his role is within that play. And Eddie's going to coach him up. Now, I know that I liked Sesko. I really did. I still like Sesko. But I promise you, and I know that he's going to go to Man United and die on the vine. Why this guy's going to come to NUFC, and Eddie's going to coach him up and be a much better player. That's the difference between the organization, the coaches, the culture. So, yeah, I think it's ridiculous people would trash this guy with, very limited knowledge. But I also know that he's not the savior that's going to hit the ground running, and we got to expect him to get, 20 goals this year. I don't think that's happening either. It's going to be a long-term build on his talents, and I think that we got the right organization and gaffer to do it.
Well said. Yep, well said. Ian, welcome back from your jolly holidays. What was what's your feelings on Baltimore? I think you always listen to what the lads say. What's your views on
it? Similar, but not the same. I think what we need to do is take a step back to before we signed Big Nick and have a look what we had before we had him, and the relief that I had when we actually signed someone who'd scored double figures last year, which, by the way, when we signed Ballsack, he'd only scored 6 goals in the previous season. Came in, nobody thought he was a centre forward. Everyone thought he was a left winger, right winger, number 10, whatever. Turned out that with some good coaching off probably one of the best coaches in the world or coaching teams, he became world class. And we got 130 or 148 million, depending on which way you want to look at it for him. So I think we've got to keep, obviously we don't want to talk about him anymore, but we've got to keep that in perspective that before we signed Nick, we literally were in in my opinion, were in the proverbial. We signed him. He's come in. I haven't seen much of him apart from what's on YouTube, but I've read quite a lot about him. What I've seen of him, he's got good feet. He's good in the air. He looks like he places a finish. He doesn't just snap at it. So he looks like he can set people up. He can play number 10 or he can play up front. He pretty much can do a bit of everything. And Eddie will mould him into whatever he wants him to do, which I think he will end up being the number 9, as in the position, not the number. But who knows? People say he plays better in a 10. Reading the reports on what happened with Germany, it sounded like he had no support whatsoever and they were all rubbish. You know, these £100 million players plus that were playing for them all sounded like they had a pretty poor game, but I didn't watch it, so I couldn't really say anything. Other things that I like about him, he seems to have the right attitude, which came across straight away. He talked about his mum about 5 times in the interview, which I think was done with a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek, bit of sense of humour, which is very, very rare from a German. So that's pretty good to see as well. So he looks like he'll be a good teammate, and I think personally that he's going to do well for us. If nothing else, he's 6'6", built like a brick shithouse. Really, you know, he's not a skinny lad. He is quite a stocky lad, like for his height. And he's quick, and he's got really quick feet with the ball. So I think he'll do really well, and I think nobody's going to want to play against him because of his size and the fact that he has got a turn of pace. So that's my thoughts.
Good stuff. Great opinions, lads, and I thought you would agree with us on that one, but it had to be said, and looking forward to seeing him pulling on a black and white shirt. Halfway through the show, time for the ads. A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com. Contact them at www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. You can find them at their website, mrvickys.co.uk. Email info@mrvickys.co.uk or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2-crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels and no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach, all excursions included. Their website, unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com. Telephone 01670 632 460 or 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. Thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And if you like listening to us as a podcast, you can go to Sports Social Podcast Network or to iTunes, Spotify, or other podcast providers. If you want to support the show, then hit the subscribe button. It's free. We do 7 shows a week. Hit the little thumb up under the video, which is the like button, or click share to share to your social media. You can also join the channel on YouTube by hitting the join button for as little as $1.99 a month. If you want to become an NUFC Matters member, you can go to nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. It's a £25 one-off fee. You get your pen, you get your badge, a key ring, you get your beer mat and your fridge magnet and your membership card, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk for that. And we have an event early next year, 13th of February 2026, an evening with Beardsley, Waddle and Gascoigne takes place at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. To buy your tickets for that event, go to the box office 0191 243 1171 or Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk. And don't forget, the fanzine is due out in October. 4 issues for £25, includes your postage. 3 copies of this left. We're going to hit 100. We just need 3 more subscribers. So please get yourself to nufcmatters.co.uk and order yours today. Okay, we will look ahead now to next weekend's game, and we've got a big flurry of games coming up over the course of the next 3 weeks, of course. Not to mention the Wolves game coming up at the weekend, but Champions League will be back at St James's Park as well. Barcelona travelling to Newcastle on the 18th of September. And then we have an away game at Bournemouth on the 21st of September. And then it's Carabao Cup, League Cup third round, another televised game on a Wednesday night. City at home, of course, we've got a home draw. And then finishing the month off on the 28th of September with Arsenal at home. And just cutting into the end of the month, start of October, 1st of October, we then have Union SG away in the Champions League. So a busy couple of weeks coming up for Newcastle United. But the Wolves game is first up on the horizon. And a rare thing, Alan, it's 3 o'clock on a Saturday. No, there's not going to be many of these, so we've got to revel in it, I guess. But 3 o'clock on a Saturday, and my making of this is a game we've got to win. And I mentioned this to me pal when I was out with him today. I said, this is a game that Newcastle United don't just need to win. They need to win it well, Alan, because these are the kind of games that Newcastle United in the past few seasons have struggled with, and tend to chuck away, games against, teams. Now, yes, Wolves, it's been a bit better for us against Wolves, but I think we need a comprehensive win. A 3-0 at home, I think would send the crowd home happy and would have everybody in good fettle. But yeah, what's your ideas on the formation? Do you think you'll change it? Who do you think will start out of the new lads? Do you think we'll go for a change up front? Do you think Wissa will be straight in? Do you think you'd stick with Asula? What's your feelings, Alan? And I'll have a prediction off you as well.
Well, my feelings are, Steve, like you just said, I think we've got to win. The pressure's on we now. This is where the season starts. I think you start Wissa, to be honest, Steve. I think Waldemar will be on the bench. I think that will happen with Asula on the bench as well. And I'm just hoping that we'll go all out and beat them comprehensively, like you said. But I'll accept any win, Steve. To be honest with you, Steve, I think we will win. It's a game after against Bournemouth that will decide what's going to happen going forward, because Bournemouth have always seemed to struggle down there since they got promoted. I think we've only won once down there. So yes, it's a game we should win. And I'm going for a 3-1 win. Penman. I think it'll be hard because they'll be up for it. They haven't got a point so far this season, and so there'll be a tough nut to crack. But once we score our first goal, I think we'll beat them 3-1, Steve. And I do believe that this is the start of our season, and hopefully it'll go from there. So fingers crossed, Lawson will be up for it, like the lad said, Graham said down below there. So we've got to be on our toes. There will not be easy. No Premiership game is easy, but I'm expecting a 3-1 win.
David, I think Joe Linton will be back. Eddie did say before the transfer, when the transfer window closed and after we got over that game, that Joe Linton would be back for the next game. Of course, we won't find out until Friday, but he said he would only miss the Leeds game. Yes, obviously Anthony Gordon is still suspended though. Yeah, George, Wolves at home. And when you look back last season, we won 3-0. Isaac got a couple. Gordon scored as well. And the previous season, Isaac and Gordon were on the team on the score sheet along with Tino Livramento. In fact, it was a lucky team for Isaac, because in his first season at Newcastle, he scored again against them in a 2-1 win. And the legend that is Chris Wood got the winner in 21-22. So yeah, it's been a happy occasion for the last 3 or 4 seasons against them at home. But yeah, we need to make a statement for me, I think, in this game, George. And because we've played well, we just haven't got the results so far.
Yeah, the important thing for me from the off is that we start the season, this game, with so many options. I mean, the players we brought in are all fit. I mean, he's got a huge choice across the back now. With the centre half and He's been playing Trippier and Livramento on the left side. He could easily be playing Lewis Hall. You know, there's so many options where in the past we've been fragile and we've been wondering where we're going to get everybody from. And with Joe Linton fit, same thing in midfield. We suddenly got with Jacob Ramsey in the fold, a wealth of riches there as well. So he's got some interesting choices to make, and I'll be interested to see what the starting lineup is. It's difficult to talk against the notion that Maldonado will start on the bench. I don't think there's any doubt that Will Osula has. I think he burnt his bridges at Leeds for me, I'm afraid. But he's useful to have on the bench as an impact to run people ragged for 10 minutes towards the end. Wissa, if he could reproduce the pace and his shooting power that he did for the Congo the other night, then it'll be an easy win, Steve, because he just ran the other team ragged and scored beautiful goals. So no, I think the lucky run will still be there, and I'll be disappointed if we don't come away with a decent win. In fact, so decent, I'm even going to go 4-0.
Wow. Okay. Wolves are poorer than last season, Arthur. You're right. Let's go for a record score, he says. And Dave reckons that people are struggling to get to grips with Pope being at his number one. Pope is definitely the new scapegoat. Yeah, Pope's been playing a lot better, though. Yeah, a little build up to the cup final. He's been playing well. Darren, how are you feeling about the weekend's game, mate?
I reckon we're going to go there, and it's on the crowd too, Steve. So Newcastle's got to start the game strong, get the crowd going. We've got to go flying off. I think you played Voldemort from the start. I want him to start because you pay that sort of money. He's got to be in from the start, for my opinion. So George saying 4-0. I've got him by his half a coat now, don't I? At the moment, so so I must buy George's half a coat. I reckon he's got to change the team a little. I'll play Tino right back. If Lewis Hall is any sort of thing, I'll play Lewis Hall left back. And I would drop Dan Burn. And if I'll keep Joe Linton for Barcelona, and I'll probably play Ramsey. Just to make sure he's fit enough, because I don't know how big Joe for Barcelona, to be fair. But I fancy 3-0 again.
Okay, 3-0 from Darren. He's gone for a major surgery on the team there. Like, it's interesting. I wouldn't drop Dan Burn. He's in the form of his life at the minute. I've got to be honest.
I've got to get his Leeds, like I don't think.
He still kept a clean sheet though, which is what a defender gets judged on. And a goalkeeper.
I just think I'd rather play get bottom running games.
There's going to be rotation, mind. Listen, there will be rotation, Darren. I think we'll see that quite. Because we've got a big squad this season, or a bigger squad, should I say? I do think there'll be more rotation. Dan Burn can't play 30
this year, though. That's the only thing I'll say.
Yeah, he can't play 38 to 40 odd games. It's impossible for anybody to do that and maintain the same levels. But he has been brilliant, as Mark says, and I agree. But there may be a time where he has to play Malek Chow and Carabao Cup, prime example. Against Bradford at home, there'll be a major change around then. But yeah, interesting. Okay, Jeff, what's your feelings for this Wolves game?
Well, I'll cut to the chase. 3-0. I don't really think they've got any great. It's not like they've got Beelzebub on the wing or anything exciting. On the subject of quick feet, I used to have quick feet, but it was rather let down by the fact I had artificial legs. Now, talking about social media, I remember being in the Leazes end when a certain, I think his name was Warren Oates, had scored an own goal the week before. So every time he received the ball, everyone shouted, "Shoot at him." Right. So that was our version of social media. Yes. So, yes, I'd put Voldemort on the bench. And I was just thinking the other day, we were mentioning Longstaff in the Leeds game. Don't start, Rex. And do you remember the game at Oxford where he scored late?
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. And apparently, C.S. Lewis, no relation, was on his way back from that game when he got locked in the toilet on the train. And that's where the whole concept of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe came from. I just thought I'd drop that in passing. And finally, on the subject of being tall, 1.6 millimeters is a very good size of Bic biro, by the way. When you're going back to school, you're all doing the back to school stuff. Try and find 1.6 Bic biros. They write beautifully. They're really not. They're not scratchy. They're really nice to work with. And the other thing is, on Saturday at 3:00, my dear electricity company have decided to cut my electricity supply off while they rebuild the pylons. So I have already installed uninterruptible power supply. I have enough to keep going through the next nuclear war, and I've got a generator coming tomorrow. So I am going to watch the match, whatever. There you go.
Good man, Jeff. Good man,
Thank
Jeff.
you.
Thank you. Al-Walid, Wolves at home. What's your prediction? What's your thoughts?
It's exciting games. We are looking for two, not just one, two strikers to make their debuts, first debut. Very exciting, and as you say, lads, we need this win. I expect a go Penman 3-1, and I believe just a feeling that Wisa will be our main striker this season.
Okay, what's your prediction, Al-Walid?
3-1.
3-1.
Newcastle.
Okay. Kev, are we going to see Eddie tinkering a bit this weekend? I mean, obviously, it's difficult for him because he has to work with, a limited squad during internationals. And, as people in the chat have quite rightly said, some players will be getting back late. Wissa will be coming back late after his international duty with Congo. Bruno will be late coming back from the Brazilian international. So there will be players arriving late. I mean, is that going to have an effect on his team thinking, do you think?
Not really. For the modern day footballer to know how to travel internationally these days, they'll have a private jet, probably sitting waiting, a couple of sleeping tablets, and they'll be next thing they know, be back at Newcastle International Airport. So I don't think that is going to be a big problem. They'll have recovery plans in place for the travel and everything like that. After the Brazil game or the Congo game, wherever they're playing in the world, that'll already be set in place from Bunts and people like that of how to recover after the long flights, etc. Plus, even if he plays, if they both play or whatever, I don't know. But I seen Wissa came off for 64 minutes the other night. I know Bruno scored. I don't know I can't remember if he played the full game or not. So again, them minutes have been managed pretty well. So again,
Bruno's scored from 2 yards, mind you. It was a hard goal.
It doesn't matter where it hit the back of the net. It doesn't matter. I think he might go. I think Lewis Hall needs games. I think he needs to get back into the side somehow. I don't think he'll go with a 5 at the back, and I don't call it a 5 at the back. I'll call it a 3 at the back with 5 in midfield. I think he'll stick to his 4-3-3 again. Like George said, and I completely agree. The options that we now have is vast, and it's a brilliant problem to have. I'm not going to even guess who's going to put on start. You just can't guess at this point.
Yeah,
I think the one nail on is Wissa to start up front. I think he'll start, and Baltimore will be on the bench, and that's about it. There's various options that he could play, but I just had a little look that John Lawson might have. He's got an Achilles injury, so he's very doubtful to play in the game. So how are they going to approach it? But for me, and I agree with Darren, finally.
Come on, Kevin, agree with him.
Well, we're kissing made up, so
you both agree. You both agree.
No, I think we've got to have the high intensity that we have and that we know, and that's what Darren was talking about. That the quick start, the energy, the desire to get in their face, to make it uncomfortable for Wolves. I mean, we'll probably go man-to-man and push high, press high, because I don't think Baltimore will be that type of player from what I've seen. He's not that type of player to press quick, press high. He's one of those to bring players in. Wissers couldn't run around all day for you, and he's done that at Brentford over the course of his career in the Premier League. So, yeah, I think it's going to be being blunt, it's a must-win game. I don't care if it's 1-0. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
It's 3 points that we need, and we need to start. And I've said this last season. Yeah. We're getting a win against, doesn't matter, Wolves, whoever. Then we're heading into the Barcelonas, the Bournemouths. Then you're getting on runs. You're getting into consistency. We need some consistency, not the consistency that we've had for the first 3 games, which has been playing well but not scoring. That's consistently average. But now we're going to be consistently great to go forward again and get points on the board and really push up into the top half of the Premier League where we really need to be. Not saying that we're not deserve to be there, but it's not a selfish need. It's that's where we belong. We've got to be starting knocking at the door at the top table to really push those who finished above us last year to challenge them. And these are the games, like you said, Steve, right at the start, where I think Alan might have said it, where we have to win these games.
Yeah.
The Wolves, the Bournemouth, like what we've seen last season, that was a detriment. And I know others have said if we won those games, we probably would have finished second. I think, George, you might have quoted that a few times. So, it's a must-win game. And I'll go, Darren, 3-0.
3-0?
Twice, agree with us twice.
Aye, you see, I'm not that bad.
Love is in the air.
No, I've got a bad back and I've had some medicine, so that's probably why.
Okay. Magnus, what's your thoughts on the game at the weekend?
Yeah, this game always is a special one for me, as my dad is on the other side of the globe and he supports Wolves. So it's always a special occasion for the two of us. But we will show them no mercy, regardless of that. And I just want to see the team go straight on the front foot and put the game to bed first half. I can really visualize that. I really hope we go back for 4-3-3 because. I didn't really see that experiment go too well against Leeds, with the 3-4-3 or the 5-4-1, if you want to call it that. And I'm glad to see that we're experimenting with set pieces because, I saw Iceland beat Azerbaijan on Friday. Very good job. And every time we get a free kick or a throw-in or a corner, it's just a huge, huge danger. And we've got the physical players to be fierce in the area. And this just needs to be an opportunity every time, and especially in games that are in a little bit of a... Pardon?
We've got to be the first man in the corners first because I'm couldn't against Leeds. The corners were shocking against Leeds.
Absolutely. Well, they are at least experimenting. Yeah, I've seen a couple of long throws, and why not? This is one of the tools that we got. Strand Larsen pulled out of Norway because of that injury you spoke about. So they are less threatening. I have to say this. After the game on Friday, somebody asked me, "Did Isak score tonight?" Because they were playing at the same time as Iceland, and I said, "Yes, he scored twice. Only it was Isak Bergman Johannesson, and he scored for Iceland." Alexander Isak didn't even get any minutes, and long may that continue. And for me, it's totally in the rearview mirror, and I don't look back. So goodbye, Isak. And if I'm gonna say my forecast on the game, 4-1 for me, and we're gonna see at least a half an hour of Walter and Vissa starting the game. Probably Jacob Ramsey as well. He's shown great potential, and I agree with Darren. We need Joelinton for Wednesday, or was it Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday.
Against Barcelona.
Will your father be talking to you, Magnus, after the game?
Pardon?
Will your father be talking to you after the game? We beat them 4-1.
Probably. But tomorrow Iceland are going to Parc des Princes, playing against France. So that will be interesting. Both my teams are going to Parc des Princes. Then Newcastle a little later on in January, I think. So I'll look at this as a bit of a test. Check the enemy's grounds, and hopefully we take something from it. But it's gonna be a big challenge for Iceland. And sorry that I'm mixing it up. It is an international break. There's been little to watch, but we are making the most of it. And for me, 4-1 win, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, Magnus. Cheers, Tom. How are you feeling about the game at the weekend?
Oh, feeling pretty confident. I don't know how that team's going to score against us. We got a pretty good defense, but I disagree with some of the lads. I don't think we'll see Wissa or Valdemati start. I think Wissa, he hasn't practiced with the team at all, really. And then he was off to international duty. He comes back on Thursday morning. So I don't think that he's going to have enough time to play in Eddie's system on 2 days. I just don't think that's going to happen. I agree. We need to get Hall in there, save Trippier for Barcelona. So I would go with Hall in his natural position, but Livramento on the other side. I also think that Joe Linton will be in the team, not Jacob Ramsey. I think it's going to be our first choice midfield for the team. So I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of changes of the team. I think it will be a 4-3-3. I put Hall in, I put Joe Linton in, I take Ramsey out, and I take Trippier out. And I think they'll all be ready to go next Thursday. So that's what I think. A 2-0 win is what I predict.
More conservative, but 2-0, still a win. Win's a win. Ian, finishing off the show tonight with you. How are you feeling about the Wolves game? And give us a prediction at the end.
I've not actually seen much of them, but I've seen the statistics. I've had a look at the results and that, and they've scored. They've played 3 games, scored 2, conceded 8. So they've not had a great. And they're 20th with 0 points. I'm not much ahead of them, but we played well at the start of this season. From what I've read, they've not. So I think we batter him. If I'm being honest, I was going to try and say clever words then, but I'll not bother. I think we absolutely smash him. I don't think they score. I don't know who will start, but I think there'll be one of the strikers will start. I would have said Bisa, but just hearing that he's back Thursday morning, maybe it'll go the other way. But one of them is going to start because we have no other option really than to chuck him in. I think I'd still err on the side of Bisa because he's Premier proven, and I think he will at this stage probably just slot in a little bit easier. But we'll soon find out anyway. But I think we smash him. I think Eddie goes back to our best formation, proper formation. Obviously, he went with 3 at the back, which ended up being 5 at the back. I think anyway, we were pretty god awful with that because he didn't have faith in Lewis Miley starting, and that's my opinion on what happened there before. So that won't be an issue this time, I don't think. So I think we smash him 4-0. We'll go, and it's the start of the season now. After what's happened all summer with Ballsack, we can put all that to bed now. We've got 2 strikers, and let's get on with it now.
Okay, good stuff. We've had a request from Jules in the chat, Jeff. If we can see Rex one more time.
Rex?
Hey, there we go. How old's Rex, Jeff?
He's 4.
Oh, right, just a Ben.
Yeah.
Does he chase ducks, Jeff?
No, the duck. Yes. You like Steve, don't you? He's a man who polishes his shoes when he goes out. And people who don't polish their shoes. I know Mr. Steve, don't we? Yes.
Very good. Good stuff, Jeff. Thanks for that. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And yes, as Alan McKenzie points out, Sky had released the details of who is in for the Hall of Fame this year. 2 players get picked for the Hall of Fame. We'll get Les Ferdinand. That's what we need to do. Get Les Ferdinand into the Hall of Fame. Get voting when the voting's announced. You'll be able to find that on the social media accounts of Sky. I'm not sure whether voting's open now, but when it is, make sure you vote for him. We can't have Defoe getting ahead of Big Les in that. There's a few players on there you don't want in. Michael Owen's on there, for God's sake.
Oh,
So let's,
There's another little rat.
yeah, so let's try and get Big Les in.
That's
Blue
being
Ribbon Boy.
polite, Darren.
Yeah,
Eh?
exactly.
That's being polite. He's worse than a rat.
And I wasn't. I kind of swear, but I wasn't going to swear. I don't feel that violent. I feel a good mood tonight. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. What is the schedule this week? Well, Blue and Boy, tomorrow night we'll be talking to Tyne, which will please Mark Byers because it means you'll be able to hear Sid say bye-bye. Wednesday night I might do a live myself. Thursday is Super Matt and Gibbo, and Friday night is the Amigos, which will be at the usual time of 5 o'clock. Saturday morning will be Three's a Crowd with the Sunderland and Middlesbrough fan, and Sunday will be the Professionals at a time to be confirmed, but I would imagine it will be around about 5 o'clock. That one. So there's the schedule. Thanks to everybody for joining us tonight. Thanks to Ian, to Tom, Magnus, Kevin, Albany, Jeff, Darren, George, and Alan. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. We'll see you all 6 o'clock tomorrow. And if you want to follow me tonight, I will be on with Al Walid on his own channel tonight in about 10 minutes. I'm doing 45 minutes. I'll be on till about 8 o'clock. And good night to Rex. Take care. Bye bye.
Good night, Rex.